theaters are here. Cosmo Macero, O'Neill & Associates, Peter Kajis of the Boston Phoenix. Before we get to the debate last night, gentlemen, all the candidates flubbed. What would you physically bring to the White House if elected? So, Cosmo, what would you bring?
Well, golf clubs to begin with. You got to have the golf clubs.
Thank you.
And probably my framed photo of me playing poker with Carmen Electra.
Nice. That's what I was looking for last night, Peter.
Like Cosmo, two things. Box of cigars and a big bag of pipe tobacco.
I don't think in a debate for president you want to reference bringing a box of cigars to the Oval Office.
Or a big bag of something.
In my America, you would.
I got a big can of Moxie, and I'm putting it right on the desk, and no one touches it. With that being said, the debate last night on CNN, combine that with the debate last week, and where do we stand in this Republican Party, Cosmo?
You know, if you're Governor Perry, you can't out-wonk Willard. And in this case, he's trying to out-wonk Mitt Romney on Social Security. And I think if I'm Romney, I'll keep that conversation going for as long as Perry wants it to go. He called it a Ponzi scheme. Romney says that Social Security is criminal. Well, you know, Ponzi schemes are illegal. He can have that argument. I think Romney's going to win that argument in the long run.
Yeah, also, that's an argument that all those voters in Florida are really interested in, too. You know, I don't think the first debate matters at all. All that matters is the last debate. And in this last debate, the guiding light was, you know, that saying from the Middle East, the enemy of my enemy is my brother. And everyone was united against Rick Perry. So Romney, I heard you a little earlier. Romney didn't win because he was terrific. Romney won by default because he's running around. It's interesting that even fellow Texan, you know, Ron Paul is in there swinging with him. But nobody likes each other under the state.
Do you guys find it amusing that in both the last two debates, there are 8 candidates up there, but somehow mysteriously Romney and Perry end up next to each other in that nice 2-shot that we get as they dominate the debate?
I thought it was dumb luck.
Maybe it was, but I give these networks credit for doing that because usually, oh no, we have to give everyone a chance and we have to space them out. They're giving us what we want this time.
Everyone's on the stage. That's the chance. These are the guys right now that matter. And that's the way it ought to be. You know, it's good TV. They're adding elements of drama and production to the debates for better or worse. But hey, that's who you want to hear talking right now.
With that being said, Rick Perry coming to Massachusetts today leads to this great front page, I think, deep in the heart of taxes. If you're Rick Perry, what do you do while you're here in Massachusetts, Cosmo?
I'd say you probably get in, do your obligation, shake some hands, and get out. I got to say, if my history's correct, I think you got to go back to Lyndon Johnson campaigning here with Kennedy. If I'm not mistaken, he rode a horse down Boylston Street, wore a 10-gallon hat. That played big. Maybe Perry.
Somebody was on Google earlier.
No. This is well known of a political history. That's something that maybe Perry ought to do something like that to sort of get some attention. Otherwise, get in and get out.
I think Perry has to be a little bit careful because New Hampshire's right over the border. He'll come in and I think make some predictably Republican jobs at Democratic Massachusetts.
As I would, and that's it. And then you just innocently get out of here and you're like, okay, I've been there, I've done that, that's it. Let's shift gears for a second, gentlemen, talk about the White House. Yesterday, the president finally gives us a concrete copy of his jobs plan. Only check this out. The New York Post points this out. I don't know if you can get a good shot of that, Joe. It's presented on Xerox paper with one of those binder clips, Cosmo. Is this where we're at now? The White House can't even afford to put like a leather binding on this thing?
Someone's been shopping at Staples.
That was easy.
Someone needs to put a call over to the old executive office building and say, hey, you know what? How about a real binder on this thing? Or
how about a hole punch?
How about a hole punch?
Anything.
How about some yarn and paste?
This is the official thing, and I can't even wait 30 minutes for somebody to do a hole punch. I got to go out with this.
Yeah, no, it looks cheesy, and the content where he's going to have a problem. We can get to that, but it looks.
Well, what's your issue with the content?
Well, look, I mean,
we've been told that everyone's agreed on this already many times over.
We knew we talked about this last week. We said he has no choice but to spend a lot of money, so $450 billion. That's the plan. It has to be. Well, now how are you going to pay for it? Well, now we find out that he wants to raise taxes essentially on the comfortable, admittedly middle class, the comfortable suburban middle class. You go after itemized deductions for people, $200,000, it's a lot of money, but it's kind of the comfortable suburban middle class or really close to it. That's really, really politically risky.
Well, there is a shift here, Peter, that we hadn't heard of, and we didn't notice this in his speech to Congress because he didn't mention it, but that $250,000 barrier is now down to $200,000. Oh, but nobody mentioned that before we got this binder clip plan.
No, that's a very good point. I predict it'll go back to $250,000. From what I know of the bill, and I haven't had a chance to read it yet.
Nobody has.
Well, I think it's rather brilliantly put together. That $200,000 figure is, but he's got the stimulus money, even though no one wants to use that word, and he sneaks his tax cut in, his tax adjustments, his tax increases on the rich in there, and it makes it harder for the Republicans to say, "Oh, I see now. Now you're against jobs. Now you're against."
Well, that's the question, Cosmo. Does he really want them to pass this thing whole hog? Or is it better for him next November to run against Congress? Because if they pass this thing and it falls flat, he's got big problems. If they don't pass it, he can say, well, it's that Republican Congress that's killing me.
I guess so. I mean, I'll give him credit for being a guy who I think believes in his ideals, whether they're misguided or not. I think he feels, rightly so, he's got to do something. And really the only option you've got, if you're the federal government, is to put money into school buildings and infrastructure, tax incentives for small business. That's great. But now you're talking about people with an adjusted gross income of $165,000, $180,000. Like I said, that's really perilously close to the real middle class.
You both have made presentations at your places of business. Have you ever done it with the binder clip?
No, I don't think so. I like the binder clip, but only for my own internal use, not for presentation purposes.
I favor the index card.
Yeah,
That works.
And the whiteboard.
Peter Cadges of the Boston Phoenix, Cosmo Macero, Vanille & Associates. They're the heavy hitters.